don't know, here in the United States, our current president, number 46, Joe Biden, has announced that he will not be running he'll cease running in 2024 for the 2025 presidential duties. So he is out. And just a moment ago, he endorsed his current vice president, Kamala Harris, as he's endorsing her, basically. So, I mean, what that means is she gets his money or their money because she has been the vice president for 4 years. So she inherits, I guess, the fundraising campaigns, the campaign funds, which is a big part of this. Make no mistake. Anything in this world costs money. Even the wonderful Mike Messier art that you see me create, it costs money for me to buy the paint. It costs money for the canvases. And if you want some Mike Messier art, you have to pay for it too. That's the thumbnail you see there, inspired by, I guess, was it 8 days ago, the craziness that we had here in the US of A. So anyway, folks, where's my take? Where's your take? If you happen to be catching this live, I think I'm one of the first people with a reaction video. As you can see, I do these things off the cuff. I'm a big fan of a lot of YouTube people, just regular people who do their reaction videos. The way that I do mine, if something happens that I feel the need to talk about or that you want to talk about, we talk about it. But I don't do a scheduled thing. So this is really off the cuff. You're catching me as my wonderful blonde hair is still drying. My nose looks like it's got a little bit of a reaction to the sun. It's a very hot summer here in Florida, USA. I'm in Jacksonville. I actually was in the swimming pool outdoors today before 7 a.m. To beat the crowds. I hate families. I hate people with children. And I hate the fact that they're using my swimming pool. It is a community pool, but I like to think of it as my own because I'm in there during the winter months when all these family people are inside doing whatever they're doing. But anyway, folks, what's my take? What's my hot take? I'm still sinking in. I think we all have to give credit. Maybe we don't have to, but I'm going to. And I'm sorry, I'm going to pronounce his name poorly. Vivek Ramaswamy. Did I say that fairly close? I think I did. I think I got the first part right. Vivek. He has been saying, I think for 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, maybe less than five. He's been saying this, I think, since November of 2023 at least, that Joe Biden would not run for president for this possible second term. So Vivek has been predicting this. Vivek is the big winner in all this, folks, on the Republican side. If you don't know who Vivek Ramaswamy is, he's a younger guy. He's had no political office. He did run for the Republican candidacy. He's very spirited. Vivek is kind of like Trump. He's just like maybe more Trump than Trump because Vivek is actually a self-made millionaire. I think he made his money on his own. Donald Trump inherited, $1 million from his father, or at least to get started. So the point is, Vivek has been saying since November of 2023 that Biden was not going to run, and that this was kind of there's a term, not catch and release, another term, it's bait and switch, that the whole thing with Biden running for president this time was a bait and switch, and that eventually it would be exposed, and eventually Biden would drop out. So Vivek's been saying that, not me, and not a lot of other people have been saying that as long as Vivek Ramaswamy. And he's not just saying it on a podcast, he was saying this on a Republican debate. I'm not the biggest political guy, but I'm not the least political guy. You know what I mean? Like my interest kind of wavers in and out. But as I'm getting older and you kind of realize that some of this stuff does matter, I mean, it all does. But sometimes I like to live in my little bubble and just think about the things that I'm doing, the things that I enjoy, whether it's my own stuff, writing scripts or reading books or doing my art or watching Ultimate Fighting or pro wrestling. Like I like to think about me. Probably like a lot of people, politics weighs me down and makes me depressed. But today is a day for political thoughts. So let's keep them coming. If you do have comments, comment and I will read them. But let me just say, do I think this is good for the Democrats? I think it is. I think it is. I think, first and foremost, I think it's good for Joe. I think that Joe Biden goes out a hero, and this, in some regard, history is going to smile upon this decision for Jumpin' Joe, as I've called him. No one else calls him that. I like to call him Jumpin' Joe. It's a little sarcastic. I think Joe Biden means well. I think that some of the things are not going so great, and I think some are. So I think another thing that people forget is every president kind of inherits the mess of his predecessor. And in Joe Biden's case, a lot of things were pretty screwed up. And, whether I vote for Trump or not, whether you vote for Trump or not, I think people are kind of forgetting that every day that I remember the Trump presidency, there was always some Trump versus Trump cabinet people. Like Trump was always feuding with his own people. I think, I mean, even some of the people that were like so closely aligned with Donald Trump as president, was then this press secretary, uh, leave at some point. I just had tooth work done, and I think they fucked me up because now I can't. I sound like fucking Cindy Brady. Like a week ago I sounded fine, and now I sound like I got a goddamn lisp because I think they fucked up my teeth when they fixed them. But anyway, um, the press secretary, that blonde lady, and Trump were always fighting, and then she got released. And so many people that were in those inner circles of Donald Trump did not last. They didn't last for like the whole 4 years. And towards the end, I mean, I remember this. Do you remember this? It seemed like people were jumping off the Titanic with Trump. So I mean, now we kind of have this whole, Hulk Hogan can come out, and I like that speech. I mean, I thought Hogan brought a lot to the RNC, and Trump has a lot of things that he can point to Jumpin' Joe, and call him out on, which is fine. And Trump is gonna, he's how he plays this. If Trump is obnoxious about this, that would kind of be on brand, as the kids say. If Trump is dignified about this, about Biden jumping out, that would be a nice move. I think that's what a lot of people here in the States, a lot of people who probably wouldn't want to vote for Trump may vote for Trump if Trump just showed a little bit of decorum once in a while. And I think that Trump could do that. I think this would be a wonderful moment for Trump to be, quote, presidential, quote, and not rub salt in the wounds. He's going to eventually, but at least for like a tweet or a day or whatever he does on his social media app, the Trump app, show a little bit of decorum, show a little bit of grace towards Jumpin' Joe. Joe called Trump after the shooting assassination attempt. So, I mean, I think that Trump could win some brownie points with some of the people in the middle, like me. I would kind of say that I'm undecided at this point, to be honest with you. Traditionally, I've voted in a certain direction, but I would still say that my vote is up for grabs. So, if Trump kind of is nice, at least for Trump, like if Trump is kind of nice, I think he's going to win over some people, or at least he has the potential to. I think if he just continues to, quote, play to the base, as they say, I'm using all these terms I never fucking use because I never talk politics. But if Trump just kind of plays to his typical Trump fans and rubs salt in and Jumpin' Joe, or goes on the attack right away against Kamala, I think he's going to lose, some goodwill with some of the people that are undecideds. I think this battle now, is for the undecideds. And also, I think Kamala has a lot to gain. Like she's got to do a lot of work. Like and I think a big thing, folks, if Kamala is going to be the head of the ticket, if that's going to go uncontested, which I don't know if that's even fully determined. I mean, could some other Democrat hop in at this point without the fundage and just say, hey, I'm going to run against Kamala, or I challenge Kamala? I don't know how this works. Do you? If so, leave a nice, wonderful comment and I'll address it. But if let's just say for now that Kamala gets this, I'm not saying that she's going to, but if Kamala gets this nomination, her choice for VP is huge. I think a lot of fine folks who might have their issues with Kamala, or they feel that she does the word salad, as they say, like, and that's one thing people don't like about Joe. And I think the Democrats have kind of fail to acknowledge this, that people are very surface level. If they see that you're suffering with your words, if they see that you start a sentence, it drifts off, it goes like I'm doing. Like if these people, Kamala and Jumpin' Joe, they have a hard time finishing a thought within a sentence. And I think, and Trump does that as well, I know. But I think that when people want a president, they want that nice, steady tone of voice. They want someone, like I said, presidential. And I would say that Trump is not really traditionally presidential, but at least he's finishing his sentences that he started. And my buddy Carl Kate says hi. Carl is not from Chicago, but I always say he's from Chicago because it's close. And Carl went to WrestleMania 22, which I still give you credit, Carl, because he saw one of my favorite WrestleManias, Triple H submitting to Cena. Third, 3D Print Kid is a new person here who his message has been retracted. So he probably said some swearing obscenities. 3D Print Kid, you're welcome to say something else without whatever you said. My buddy from high school, Alex Clark, Nebraska enthusiast, he says it is whoever the party picks to get behind, so no guaranteed it's Kamala. Buddy, that's the best news I've heard in the last 15 minutes because, quite honestly, I don't think Kamala has much of a chance. I think that she's going to be the nominee if I were to have a little wishing ball. I just don't think that she would have a chance against Trump. I really don't. And I think, I mean, there's always time to improve. I thought Jumpin' Joe improved in his last 6 months in 2016. I thought he was having these health issues back, and the whole thing with the touchy-feely, creepy Uncle Joe. But I thought the last 6 months before, I thought Biden did fairly well or very well. Like he didn't have a lot of gaffes, as they say, before that run up against Trump. And I'm sure somebody can point out a bunch of them, but he looked better. It's like they put a fresh pack of batteries in his back in 2016. Well, those batteries are expired. Carl is asking me, I'm gonna see if I can put these comments up here. I'm reading them, but I can't pin them up on the thing. But I guess they're here. Carl's asking me how am I? Quite honestly, Carl, this is not my favorite type of year. I'm just not a summer in Florida type of guy. It's a tough time for me. The heat, it aggravates some of my health issues. Quite honestly, I'm doing my best with it, but I've found that one thing that I'm doing is my sleep schedule is totally wacky as fuck. I've in the last 3 or 4 days, I probably averaging 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and probably not even that, probably 3 hours, and it's not good. Although today, I did a thing where like I went to sleep at like 11 o'clock last night. I was watching. I got home in time to watch the UFC main event. See, this is so fucked up because that was Saturday night, which is last night, and it seems like a week ago. I watched the UFC main event. And then I was watching the main event. I woke up for the decision. It was a second round decision. Sorry, I spoiled it if people were going to watch it on delay. And then I realized, wow, I didn't even see the end of the fight because I fell asleep in the same chair I'm in right now. And I went to sleep. I woke up fully refreshed at 1:15 in the morning, which is normally I'm still up till 4 or 5. So now I'm up at 1:15 in the morning, and I started doing a thing where I'm like throwing out magazines to recycle. I'm organizing my 300 paintings. I'm doing all this crazy stuff. I was watching the TV series on Hulu, Unprisoned, which is great. And Carl says, I have cousins in Dallas, Texas, very hot down there. Yep, I'm in Jacksonville, Florida, buddy. I also have a good friend, Jamie Reborn, in it's not Dallas. It's close. It's like Fort Worth, or it's Arlington. He's in Arlington where the Cowboys play. But anyway, buddy, my whole sleep schedule is fucked. I was able to recycle the magazines. I threw them in these fucking recycling dumpsters. I felt really good about myself. I went to the swimming pool at 6:45 in the morning. I went to Whataburger and had pancakes and sausage. And by the fucking way, folks, if you guys, Alex and everybody else, Carl, Whataburger has goddamn pancakes that are fucking to die for. As far as fast food pancakes go, Whataburger's pancakes are way better than McDonald's. They're $3.99. It's fucking, you can't really beat that. And then I got and I think the $3.99 comes with one piece of sausage, like a sausage ring, and then you could add like another piece of sausage for $1.15. I know I'm just talking about the breakfast I had, 6 or 7 hours ago, but it was fucking good. So I came back home, got some groceries. I do this thing, gentlemen, where I pick up my groceries from Walmart. They put them in my backseat of my car for me. I don't have to go inside. There's no additional cost. All the assholes in Walmart that are bumping into each other with the carts and the kids and the lines and all the fucking bullshit, I avoid because I take my little car, I use the little app, and I do everything I do. No Whataburger in Lincoln, Nebraska yet. I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. What about Waffle House? But here's my thing, Alex. You ready? I do not like Tipping. That's my new like Mike Messier deal. Like now with the tipping, they're such fucking assholes. I need 20% because I poured you a soda. Go fuck yourself. So I don't like restaurants that have the traditional tipping. Even and the thing with Whataburger is like, here's the thing, folks. You ready? Whataburger is better than fucking Waffle House now because Whataburger has all the fun of a fast food restaurant. You can go in, you can kind of sit down. They don't really rush you to leave. It's never fully crowded. Sometimes there's a decent crowd in the Whataburger, but I always find a little comfortable spot for myself. Get this, they actually cook the food like when you're there. Let's see. Carl has an idea for a new video. Good, buddy. Leave it in the comments. As you know, I've been kicked off Facebook. Alex says he agrees. They need to earn it, not just given. And here's the thing, Alex. You know me, buddy. I'll tip 15%. But the reality is, I saw this on Oprah a long time ago. You're not supposed to tip on tax or on drinks, and people always do. People have been charged for the 15% on drinks and the fucking tax, but you're not supposed to. We've been over tipping already, and now like you start at 20% and I should just I'll buy you a house. You know what I mean? You serve me a grilled cheese sandwich. Let me buy you a house. Let me put your kids through college. Fuck off. So I like the Whataburger because there's no tipping to these assholes. No offense. And when I say assholes, it's out of love. I don't really think. Well, I kind of do. I was thinking about this today. I mean, I want to diagnose myself with some conditions. What did I call it? Something like AHHD. I'm diagnosing myself. You've heard of like ADD, attention deficit disorder. I'm giving myself AHHD, all hate humanity disorder. Like I just don't like people, except for you guys. You know what I mean? So just people. Like if I'm in my vehicle and I'm driving and there's a car behind me, I don't like that person. Like, why are you following me? Because it always feels like they're following me. And one thing in Florida I've noticed is that I'm driving from like my home, I'm going to the Publix, which is a grocery store, and there's a car that'll basically follow me the whole fucking ride. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Do you have the right to go to the grocery store when I'm going? Let's see here, buddy. Carl saw the new Beverly Hills Cop movie on Netflix. Well, that's good, buddy. I don't have Netflix. Let's see. Not much has changed since high school, my friend. Sadly not, Alex. This is probably a private conversation, but a friend of mine and Alex has passed away recently. So I think it's just a matter of the players, who's left in the game, buddy. But beyond that, yeah, we're still the same assholes we've always been. So let's get back to the politics at large. What's up for the Democrats? What's up for the Republicans? What's up for Trump? What's up for Biden? First off, I think the big winner in all this, believe it or not, folks, is Joe Biden. I think I'm going to just say 50, 60 years in politics, whatever it's been. I guess it's been 60 years for this guy, maybe 50. He deserves his rest. Like Grandpa has given us the remote control. You know what I mean? I think Joe really, in my opinion, whatever Vivek said or whatever the fuck aside, let's just take this on the surface that this was a decision made today, that this wasn't some giant bait and switch or, strategy all along or a strategy like Vivek predicted this. But let's just give Jumpin' Joe the credit to say that this was a spontaneous decision or a decision made in the last week or whatever the fuck. And I think he deserves a tip of the hat. If I was wearing a hat, I'd tip it. I think we give it up to Jumpin' Joe. I think that, look, sometimes it seems at least that with these things like 1984, Walter Mondale running against Ronald Reagan, it seemed like Walter Mondale was a sacrifice. At certain times, it seems like these, and I really hate the two-party system. I wish we had a three-party system. I know we have independents, but look into it. They really don't have a chance of winning. Whether it's RFK Jr. or Ross Perot, any of these people don't really have a legitimate chance at all. So we do have a two-party system, which, as Jesse Ventura says, is one more choice than Russia. So that being said, I feel like at times Walter Mondale was a sacrifice. I wouldn't say John Kerry when he ran against Bush in 2004. I think that was a legitimate challenge. I was actually surprised that Bush beat Kerry that time. Um, I think, in a sense, John McCain was kind of a sacrifice to Obama. When I say sacrifice, I'm basically saying that the party, either party, is putting someone ahead that they don't really think is going to win. They don't think that they have the best shot, and they're kind of keeping somebody else in the back burner for later, if that makes any sense. Like, they're not. Mitt Romney seemed like a sacrifice to me. I could be wrong, but it just seems like when there's an incumbent, especially, and the party's pushing someone, it may not be someone that they would push if it was like a Bush versus Gore thing, where it's anybody's ball game, but there's not an incumbent after an incumbent's done 8 years. I hope I'm making sense here, but the point is Kamala a political sacrifice? Not her life, not her, her whatever the fuck, but just would she be someone that they're gonna Democrats are like, okay, we know that Kamala's not gonna win this, we know Trump's gonna win, but we'll shove Kamala up in front, we'll punt with her, and then we could at least say we had a woman of color as our nominee, and they can have those brownie points with whoever's keeping track. But if they, being the Democratic Party, is really serious about winning, I think you'd have to consider someone else. And that brings the bigger question, who would that someone else be? And I don't know. I think the people that I've seen, I mean, I think the California gentleman, Newsom, is that the name? Gavin Newsom. I mean, it's such a pretentious name, first of all, but it's kind of it's a presidential name, but it's like an asshole rich guy name, Gavin Newsom. Yeah, it sounds like a dick face. You know what I mean? So I don't think Gavin would win either, just based on his name. And from what I've heard, and I'm not a researcher, but California has not done so well, or he's not done so well with his own state. So who's left? My choice. This is not going to happen because she left the party. Tulsi Gabbard would be better than any of these assholes, including Trump, including Kamala. Tulsi would be a great president, in my opinion, but they're not going to let her run. And she's kind of alienated herself because she never fully joined the Republican Party, and she left the Democrat Party. So, and in her book, she basically has a shit parade all over the Democrat Party. So why would the Democrats, why would they bring in Tulsi? I mean, if could you and Tulsi had gone after Kamala in the 2000, I guess it was the 2020 debates. So my point is, Tulsi is a princess without an island. She has no home politically, and she's kind of just out in, fucking Joe Rogan podcast world, shitting bricks from the outside of the forest. So unfortunately, the person who's probably the best qualified, in my opinion, or the person that seems the most presidential, and is a woman, she's not eligible because she's not with the Democrats. So that kind of sucks. I don't know. I really don't. If I'm forgetting someone, gentlemen and ladies, if you're out there, please let me know who I'm forgetting. I just don't see. I just don't see the Democrats winning this, and I think it's just a thing where the show's over, folks. I mean, I think it's possible. Oh, here's where I was getting at. Who is she going to pick for her VP? And I still think it's like not going to really help the cause, but I think whoever that person is, male or female, and most likely, they could do a double female ticket, which would be interesting. I mean, now is the time to do it, I guess, because like I said, this feels like a sacrifice. So if you're going to punt, if you're going to take a chance hard. You know what I mean? So why not do two women at this point? But to me, whoever gets that VP on the Democrat side, that's who you're really looking towards running in 2028 for president. So I would think just using the traditional American politics. But guess what? Traditional American politics have been thrown out the window, and to give it credit or discredit, that's a Trump thing. Trump never had political office. He was a TV show guy. He was a WrestleMania 23 guy. Trump was a business guy. He was a personality, a pop culture icon already. I think sometimes people forget how famous I mean, I was watching a tape of on YouTube, so it wasn't a tape, but it was a boxing match. Mike Tyson versus Larry Holmes, 1987. Okay, I mean, Tyson's fighting Jake Paul, supposedly, if it does happen in 2024, at the end of 2024. Jake Paul was not alive in 1987, right? So it's Tyson is fighting Larry Holmes, who won the title from Muhammad Ali. So think about this, guys. Mike Tyson beat Larry Holmes beat Muhammad Ali. Mike Tyson beat Larry Holmes, and Jake Paul is going to fight Mike Tyson. So you have just three guys removed. Jake Paul is like three fights removed from Muhammad Ali. And think about the guys that Muhammad Ali fought. You know, he fought Sonny Liston. And when was Sonny Liston the champion? Like in the late 50s, early 60s? And now you got in just 3 or 4 different fighters, you know, Muhammad, Larry, Tyson, and Jake. I mean, that's like 80 years, you know, of boxing. And I'm not saying that these are the greatest boxers, especially not in Jake Paul's case, but Muhammad and Larry, they are. I'm not a big Tyson fan, but yes, he was a great, you know, he had his run. My point is just time flies. Time's an interesting thing. You see these YouTube videos of we hear voices from the slaves, or we hear I heard the first recorded audio voice. They do have like actual people that were slaves recorded and on 75 like photographs or records. It's fascinating stuff. Let's see. Well, I'm waiting for more comments from you. I guess I'm saying such immaculate things that you guys are shocked and amazed and you have nothing to say in return, which is fine. So anyway, folks, I think the big question now, I did like the fact that Alex brought that up, that this whole thing with it's not a done deal. Kamala's not a done deal. Who the fuck is going to step up? I hope that some of these Democrats just show a pair of fucking balls and challenge Kamala. And I'm not taking a personal offense with her. I'm just saying that I think that's what would be good in the long run, even if it hurts in the short term for the Democrats to say, oh my God, they're a divided party, they're fighting amongst themselves. I think we need a little bit of that. I think people are sick of the day-to-day bullshit, same old faces, and they want a little fire in the belly. And I think that a convention where, even if Kamala had this great financial advantage or a certain ticket loyalists, Alex is saying, dust off Hillary or Michelle Obama. My personal opinion, Alex, I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but I would not like either of those choices, and I'll tell you why. I think Hillary has got the remnants of Bill on her. I think the reason why Hillary has not done well, it goes way, way back to 1992. I am not a coal miner's daughter. I am not standing by my man like Tammy Wynette. I think Hillary put her foot in her mouth. She was always defending her husband, which is nice, but kind of in the long run, that she came out looking worse than Bill, because Hillary was always kind of defending Bill, but not defending Bill. And I think people just saw that. I think what they would like you to think, they being Hillary and her folks, her people, her supporters, they'd like people to think, well, Hillary has been a great wife, a great leader, a great mom, and she always puts the country ahead of herself. I think what the average asshole like myself thinks is Hillary is a woman too weak to leave a cheating man, and if she's too weak to leave a shitty husband who blatantly embarrasses and humiliates and degrades her, and they have a lifeless marriage, why would I want a person of that weak strength in their personal life to be the president? See, they'll tell you that it doesn't make a difference. Well, you know, Hillary has, look at her political record. But assholes like me and you, we don't look at political records as much as what type of person is this? This is kind of a woman that puts up with shit from a guy. And do I find that to be strong in a leader? No. And I think they always look beyond that. The simple fucking equation of, yeah, Trump's an asshole, but at least, he's a self-serving fuck, but he's not letting someone, in theory, abuse him for a whole marriage. You know what I mean? I think Hillary would have done better if she had divorced Bill, years ago and gone out on her own, I think she actually would have done better. That's just the way people are now. And I think the powers that are, always forget that common level street mentality of the average everyday asshole looks at a person like Hillary Clinton. She's been in an abusive marriage. They hold that against her. They don't think that she's, being whatever the fuck she's being. They see that as weakness. I see it as weakness. I do. So there you fucking have it. So Michelle Obama. Well, here's my thing with Michelle, and I'm not opposed to Michelle Obama as a person, not at all. I think a lot of folks would say, I think it's too much like Hillary. And granted, Hillary had political office, right, and she earned it. But I think people don't like this nepo baby shit, and I think marriage baby, like, oh, she was married to the president. I don't think people are going to respond well to that either. And yes, Trump didn't have political office either. So, I mean, but like I said, it's all out the fucking window. But as far as Michelle goes, what's her political office? Being the first lady? And in theory, the first lady or the son of the president, I saw this thing about Hunter last night, and Joe Biden and Biden's press secretary was fielding questions about Hunter being in meetings. In theory, the White House first lady is not supposed to really be making decisions, right? So, or government decisions, maybe other things. But my point is, I don't think that Michelle is going to win any votes with independents or with undecideds. I think the Democrats might dig it. I think people that love Obama might dig it. I might even dig it at some point. I think she would probably do well in debates. I think Michelle's a good speaker, and I think she probably would do very well in debates. I don't know if people would think that's enough, though. I think she's probably. That would be interesting, though. I'll give you that. That would be interesting because if Michelle went out there and tore it up in the debate stage, she might have a chance. She might, or I mean, I guess you could do a thing where, like I said, if you're going all female, could it be Kamala and Michelle Obama, Harris, Obama, which is interesting as fuck. It would be the Kamala Harris for president and Michelle Obama for VP. Might be interesting. I know we were talking about 2028, so I kind of switched gears on you real quick as far as who was going to run in 2028. Alex says he doesn't like either of them, and Carl says, I hate both parties. We're all in agreement, gentlemen. We have a trinity of strength here in our hate or our disappointment. So here's another thing. I wouldn't want to be president. I wouldn't want either of you guys to be president, no offense. But I mean, I don't think it's a job that a sane person in 2024 would really want. Or how do I put this? I think there's like a calling. Like you hear the story of Abraham Lincoln sitting in his fucking wood cabin and he's looking at some book about George Washington or whatever the fuck, and Abe had this distant voice in his head saying, "You will one day be president." And okay, like 100 years ago, that was great. Like whatever the fuck. William McKinley heard the voice of the wild. You will be president, William. Okay, now it's just like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Alex has too many skeletons in the closet, buddy. I hear you. You know, you want to be president, Carl? You running for president of Chicago, buddy, or the suburbs of Chicago? I don't know, man. I guess I'm the president of Mike Messier world, and it just is what it is, guys. I think this is a fun topic. I think one good thing, at least as far as I know, with our country, with the United States, we're not going to have, I hope, we're not going to have riots in the streets about this. I mean, sometimes, yes, we do have riots in the streets about stuff. But as far as this, like a political major thing, I think in some countries you would. In some countries they do. If there's like some type of off-putting regime change or, some type of Shaw or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? I think here it's kind of all on the up and up. And that's why I'm kind of imploring, not that Trump is sitting there watching me. I know he's not, but I would like to see Trump Jr., I think Potsy Cunningham there is VP. And I did get the guy's audiobook. I was most impressed with, I can't even remember his fucking, the hillbilly fuck, the vice president guy. I bought his book, so he got my money. I bought his audiobook and I started to listen to it, but I'm also finishing a book about Mickey Mantle, The Last Boy, on audio, on Audible audio. So I will listen to Jeb's. What's the guy's name now? JD Vance. Thank you, buddy. Thanks, Alex. I will. I'm listening. I'm going to finish the Mantle book and listen to JD Vance. I give him credit that he is reading his own audiobook. See, stuff like that is what matters to me. He wrote a book and he's reading the audio version himself. That matters to me. Like, that's cool. I give him credit. I saw what's her face, Rachel Maddow on YouTube had like this clip from her show where she's basically trying to character assassinate JD Vance, and it was really pretty weak. Like, her arguments I thought were poor. She's basically saying that JD Vance didn't earn anything. He's getting all these advantages because he's liked by this rich guy, and this rich guy kind of promotes JD throughout his life. And it's like, okay, well, when JD, from the little that I know about him, he grew up in this dysfunctional hillbilly family, violence. And I haven't listened to the whole book yet, but apparently JD did not have a good childhood. And if he was able to get to the point where a rich guy favored him, that's not because JD Vance was born with a rich guy favoring him. It's because he earned the attention of the rich guy to favor him. And I think Maddow, her thing was this really weird, basic, I would say, attack on the white man, that he's just a white puppet guy for a rich old white man puppet. And she even brought up a thing with Narnia, like the fucking Tolkien books, and that JD Vance I think even not even him, but the rich white guy had some type of company that was using the word Narya, but Narya, which to me is like, okay, he knows that Narya, the word, is copywritten, so he has to tweak the word. So he puts a Y instead of an I. That's simple. But Rachel took it to the next level and said, that's Aryan. Like she's saying that Narya with the Y, what he really meant to say was that it's Aryan, like the Aryan race, which I think, you see things all the time that are spelled with an X instead of an S, or just like some hip way to spell a word, or some, you spell a word with a different letter just to be cool or whatever the fuck, or just to distinguish. I think if you're a fan of the Chronicles of Narnia, which I'm not even, but if you spell that with an Narya, that's just because you don't want to get jolted for the copyright of the actual author of the book. But the way that Maddow saw it, she interpreted it as a subtext of the master race. And it's just like, what the fuck? If she had just made some... And then she was basically saying that this is why you need affirmative action, because JD Vance got all the rich white boy stuff going for him. But it's like, wait a minute, but he wasn't born a rich white guy. He became one because he sold this fucking book to 1 million people about, ironically enough, being poor and destitute as a child. So I don't know. I mean, it's just, people will look for shit. I mean, the biggest, lowest hanging fruit with Vance, apparently, is that he used to be a never Trumper. And when he was 33, which wasn't that long ago, and now he's 38 or 39, I think he's 39, he was, shitting all over Trump. So now he's Trump's boy. I thought if Vance was smart with his little speech there the other night, I think he should have accepted that, and he should have taken the ammo away from the Democrats and said, hey, I once said I was a never Trumper. Well, I guess now is never, or never say never, or whatever the fuck he could have said. And he could have said something like, just defuse the bomb. Use the bomb on yourself before the assholes do, before the opponents do. And just say, hey, look, folks, I know a lot of people out. See, they didn't reach out to the independents. I thought the Republicans could have really reached out to the independents, the undecideds. JD could have been the point man for that. Said, hey, I was once like you folks. I was once a never Trumper. I didn't like Donald Trump. I thought he was deplorable. I used really powerful words. I compared him to Hitler, which apparently J.D. Vance did. I did a lot of things. I said a lot of things when I was 33 years old. And in the 6 years since, I've grown up a lot. My opinions have changed. I've matured. And one of the biggest things, obviously, that I've matured on is my stance on Donald J. Trump, who has proven himself to me, who I was once a never Trumper, and now I am his choice for vice president. And just as I hope to earn just as I have earned Donald J. Trump's trust, I hope to earn your trust. See, I should be running for goddamn vice president. I should be writing the speeches for these fucks. But instead, he goes up there, he's Patsy fucking Cunningham for 45 minutes. Everything he said was bullshit. He's chanting for Ohio. It was just a very limp-wristed speech. It made no sense. It was weak and it stunk. But I mean, I wrote a better speech for him off the top of my head. And the thing that he fucking could have done is just accepted that he was a never Trumper and now he's the big daddy, little Trump. Thank you, Alex. Alex is voting for me in 2028. So here's the thing. I just don't know what else to say, folks. I mean, it's so much excitement. I think that this type of thing spikes a rating, as they say in the TV world or the wrestling world. This is a big news day. It's big speculation. Vivek takes a victory lap. If I'm not the first, I'm one of the first to get on here and say Vivek Ramaswamy has a victory lap coming to him. Maybe he should have been the VP choice. Maybe Matt, I was right. Why is this JD Vance getting all these opportunities? Why not a guy like Vivek? In my opinion, Vivek would have been a strong choice, but who the fuck knows what's going on? That's it, folks. Any further questions or whatnots? I'm going to wrap this up in a few minutes. Alex says, just sit back and see where the Democrats go with their pick. Yeah, I mean, the sitting back thing is the tough part, buddy, isn't it? I mean, obviously, I'm going to move on. I've put more time into this than I thought today, but I'm happy to be here. Um, but I see, I mean, when you say sit back, I know what you mean. Like, there's nothing you and I can do about it. We just have to watch and see. But I think this would really, I think, be great if the Democrats got their dicks out of their own asses and had a little mini convention. You're voting, Carl's voting for RFK Jr. And hey, man, I voted for third party once. I did for president. I woke up one time for a presidential election. I was disgusted by the two choices. I got on the internet and I saw some website that had the list of people that were running in my state and the person that I voted for was only eligible in 4 states. And I made a third party vote for president knowing that my person had no chance of winning as a statement of I believe in the process, but I don't believe that there should be 2 candidates. And my state at the time was a foregone conclusion which way it was going to vote for president. So it wasn't a battleground state at all. And I felt like I want to show some love to this third party person. And what I did read, it was a hymn about his politics, was I was in alignment with a lot of what he had to say. Or his beliefs. They had like one of those little belief grids. So, I mean, this is the type of thing, folks. I mean, I think there is a disconnect. People want good choices. I think, and here's the thing also. I mean, if you want to be if you want a better choice, then you run for president or I run for president. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I think that's where some folks got behind Trump is they felt like he was outside of the system, although he was kind of in his own system. Alex Clark wanted Nikki Haley. Yeah, interesting choice, buddy. You can say real quick what you liked about her. I mean, because I would be open to hearing that. Um, I don't know. I think she had some stuff. Wasn't she the one that was really into, like, she was really like a gun enthusiast? Or I think who was the one that I think did Vivek call out Nikki Haley for being like a warmonger, or maybe Tulsi did. Somebody was saying that she's too into the military stuff. In other words, that she's pulling for conflicts that we don't necessarily need, basically just to keep the thing going. And was her husband involved somehow in the military? The accusation was that Nikki Haley was basically a war for profit thing. You're saying, yeah, it was her. Okay, so there you go. I mean, that's why I like Tulsi, because Tulsi, like I said, I listened to her audiobook of Love and Country. I've liked her for 3 or 4 years. She actually served in the military, which I never have, but I give them a lot of credit, the people that actually did. And Tulsi doesn't want war because her opinion is she used to have to read the uh, the names of the deceased every day. She had to look on the internet, and I think she had to like read them. I guess just to herself. I thought she might have had to like call them out to her colleagues, but when she was overseas in combat, she had to read every day a list of people that died, and some of them she knew personally, her colleagues, her compatriots in the military. And she said, when you have to do something like that every day for a long period of time, you don't want to go to war. And that's something that some of these career politicians, and I don't think Trump ever served either, but that's what they don't get. Sure, it's easy to send somebody else's kid to war. It's easy to send people you don't know to conflict and call their parents once they're dead. But if that was your kid or if that was you, you wouldn't do the same thing. This is Alex Clark, my buddy from Nebraska. I would just like to see a candidate that is not so far right or left and would actually work with both parties so shit actually got done. Once again, buddy, that's my Tulsi pick. A guy like Jesse Ventura was kind of like Jesse was my pre-Tulsi pick. I think Jesse's kind of, like we all do getting older. I think Ventura and Tulsi together would be great. But Jesse, it's almost like if you tell too much truth, you're not going to get elected. And Jesse with his not RFK, but JFK book, I listened to that. And basically what Jesse Ventura did with his assassination conspiracy book is he took the best of other people's research and kind of compiled it into an encyclopedia of other people's theories, but he gave credit to everybody. So if you like the JFK conspiracy stuff, Jesse's book is great because I listened to the audio. Unfortunately, he didn't read his own audio book, which kind of pisses me off once again. So credit to JD Vance. These are the weird little things that I look for. Like, okay, Hillary stayed in an unhappy marriage for politics. I don't like her. JD Vance raised himself out of the hillbilly gutter and wrote an audio book, and he actually reads his own book. I like that. Do I say people are calling me and I'm trying to do something? Let's see. All I want to say. This is Carl Cotte again. All I want to say that we spend too much on the military. Spend too much money on the military. Carl, I don't know, buddy. I really don't know the answer to that, except I would say this, Carl. I guess I agree with you. I think we spend too much of our military money in other countries, and no offense to the Ukraine, but I mean that's an easy, once again, low hanging fruit. And I wonder if Trump gets into office, if I think Biden made a 10-year deal with the Ukraine, is that 10-year deal at the window? Like, does that deal persist with a new regime, or can Trump rip that deal up, deal or no deal? So my opinion is that I'm kind of, in that regard, an America First guy. I'm not saying a Trump guy, but I'm just saying I do feel like America, for whatever reason, we have plenty of problems at home. We have plenty of social issues. We have plenty of people living on the streets here. We have things, the price of gas, all these things that we know about, and yet we're supporting countries. And am I not? Do I at least know this, that the Ukraine never joined NATO, and they're getting like a free pass into NATO benefits? I think that's what Biden did. He basically accepted he accepted the Ukraine into NATO, or gave them the benefits of being a NATO country, but they chose not to join. Am I mistaken in that? I thought that was the story, that Ukraine passed on joining NATO before they got attacked by Mother Russia. And so, in a sense, well, you fucked yourselves. You didn't. I mean, were they going? Would the Ukraine help anybody else out if they hadn't joined NATO, right? And some other country got fucked. Was the Ukraine? They weren't in NATO, so they were under no obligation to help anybody, and they wouldn't have. Do you think the Ukraine would help out anybody else? But because they're getting attacked, and I'm not saying they should be attacked, not at all. I feel bad for them and all that. But that's why you make these decisions, and that's the tough part of making the decisions. So the consequence you would think for not joining NATO is you don't get the benefits of being a NATO country. Well, apparently not, because when Ukraine had the chance to join and they didn't join and then they got attacked, they still got the benefits of joining. So what does that tell you? That says don't join these NATO type of organizations with other countries, because then you don't have to do your part if someone else gets attacked. But maybe you'll get lucky, and if you get attacked, you'll get the benefits anyway. So people don't think about these goddamn things. They don't think about, okay, we're making a precedence here. Sure, Biden, in this case, we're making a decision to help a country that we think needs us, and they're getting attacked, and it's unfair, and all that stuff, and children are getting killed, and it's all horrible. But the precedent you're setting is, what respect does a NATO agreement have in the future going forth if you're just going to help people regardless of whether or not they joined when they had the opportunity to join? So there you go, folks. But people don't think this way. They really don't. And I don't understand it, because I'm sitting here watching this parade of assholes throughout my life and just thinking, am I the only one seeing these things? Or maybe I'm so out of the loop that I don't see the whole big fucking picture, or whatever the fuck. All right, gentlemen, as you know, MikeMessier.com. You can go there. You can scroll to the bottom. You stand me on social. I'm officially off Facebook, Alex and Carl. So, I mean, now it's Instagram is kind of my go-to thing. I also have Twitter. I do have Thread, which I kind of forget about, but I'm on there. Mostly I'm on here. So this is the place for the helping hardware man and me. And so One Artist Mike Messier, my art is on One Artist Mike Messier. My films, One Man and a Camera Films. On this channel, I do have my review of season 1 and 2 of the really good show Unprisoned with Kerry Washington and some Delroy Lindo. I liked it. I binge watched season 1 and 2. They have a cliffhanger for season 3. So if you want to see my review of 1 and 2, movies, I've seen a bunch, of course. I actually haven't seen a movie in 2 or 3 days. I saw The Lion King 30-year re-release. I saw Longlegs, which I was probably one of the few people that didn't like it as much. That review's on here. What else, gentlemen? The best movie I saw, not this year, but a year ago. Oh, God. Jake Gyllenhaal. Covenant. Did you guys see that one? It's kind of a military movie, so I thought Covenant was the best movie of 2023. I don't think it got nominated for anything, but that was my favorite movie this year. I'm not sure. I didn't like the new Quiet Place as much. I did see Twisters, and I did a nice review of that. I thought that was fun. Never saw the original. I guess it's kind of a standalone sequel. That's an interesting statement. Is it a sequel or is it not? But it's a standalone sequel. Twisters. It was worth seeing. See it on IMAX. Twisters good, yeah, buddy. I have a full review, but my basic synopsis of it is good. I did not see the original with Bull Paxton and Helen Hunt, whenever the fuck, years ago. This one I could enjoy without it because it's a standalone sequel. But buddy, I'm telling you, if you have IMAX in Lincoln, if you have a Dolby Digital, I always suggest you get the AMC Movie Pass subscription or the Regal subscription. It's so much better than paying by the movie. Or Cinemark has a subscription plan. See it on IMAX. If you're going to go, you got to see it on IMAX. If it's just some rinky-dink little theater with like a half-assed Fair Oaks Mall screen, or Fair City 6, if you remember that one, buddy, that's not going to do it. You need to see a nice big screen for that one, for Twisters. The story is good, but it's you need to see it like with a real nice screen and stuff. And so that's it, gentlemen. Well, it's been nice talking to you. Thanks for checking in, guys. Like I said, there is no more Mike Messier on Facebook. The king is dead. So I'm only here on YouTube and the Instagram and all that good stuff. And my books, Fight or Play Basketball and Distance from Avalon. You can go to MikeMessier.com, scroll to the bottom and see them. Thanks for checking in, Alex. Carl, anyone else. We had the PG kid or the 3D printer guy who had his opening message was retracted. Now that's just going to bother me all day. What did this guy say? 3D print kid. What could he have possibly said that he retracted? But anyone else that tunes in on the replay or has been watching all along, feel free to subscribe to One Mike Messier and have a wonderful day. And if you have a brilliant comment about what the Democrats should do or what the Republican strategy should be or the VP choice or 2028, leave it in the comments and I'll get all excited about it. Mike Messier.